Hi there, Valerie Shodine here, and welcome to Plan With Me 2021, where I combine the comforts of home with art journaling and planning in my planner journal. Welcome to April's Plan With Me. In this video, we will be going over the making of these pages, the calendar page for the month. This is a Dutch door page for a devotional that's shown in the Plan With Me at valerieshodine.com, and my gratitude page where I'll list the things I'm grateful for this month, day by day, one line per day. And here's a workflow page which can be adapted to anything that you may have: work, play, exercise, classes, etc. And here's another workflow page for my other job. And then my weekly calendar pages that I've kept really simple this time to maximize my space to write in each day, and have used various washi tapes that go with the colors. And then here's some extra pages, also using the painted feathers with stencil, paint, and washi tape for my extra pages. Okay, let's get started. Here's the calendar page. I've drawn it out in pencil first. Normally I start with a pen, but this time I've decided to start with the paint and the stencils. So I've sketched in around the stencils my shape here, but now I'm just going to lightly erase them. I could use my kneaded eraser or any eraser, but not entirely, so I can still see where they go. The reason I'm doing this is because the pencil will show through if I put watercolor on top. I cannot erase it once it's on there. So I'm just leaving like a ghost of that on there, and then I'm going to go in with the stencils first. To begin, I'm going to activate my watercolors by spritzing some water onto them. And then for you to see me mix it, I'm going to turn this around. This paint is left over from painting the cover page, and I'm using some of the same colors, so I thought I would just leave it on there. Oh, I apologize for not showing the stenciling of the banner and the feathers so far. It was totally off the film, so I'm just going to continue here, and it's done in the same techniques shown here and as in last month's banner stencil. Okay, let's go in then. I'm going to do another one. I'm going to do some yellow. Let's try that. And then I'm going to try some orange in there. Okay. This time I think I'm going to go in with yet another one and add some dark, some indigo. Okay, I think that's good. And now I have a few eggs I want to include here. This one, we'll just do a little egg here. Okay. And then this one. I'll just do a little bit of green on there. Okay, tape this down. Okay, I'm going to go in with some of the Indigo. Maybe a little bit of the green. Oops. Okay, see how that looks? That looks good. Okay, now I'm going to move on to the pen. Okay, I'm going to draw the grid with my stencil here and line it up. Then I'm gonna just decide what pattern. I think I'm just gonna do this. I'm going to switch to a 3 and use my stencil here, just tracing on the inside of this. I'm going to do some doodling on the feathers. Now there's so many patterns that I could do. So just experiment. I'll start here with the shaft. And I can go in with some white. Okay, hopefully I'll stay within the frame of the film this time. I'm going to erase the lines here before I move on to the next thing, which I'm going to go a little bit back and forth with paint and pen. Now I'm going to try something. These pieces feel a little disconnected here for me, and I could go in like I did in March and paint around the outside edge like this, and I like how that worked, but I'm going to try something different. I have this stencil I designed for Stencil Girl products, the 6-inch Spirit stencil, and it reminds me of wind. And I think wind and feathers, I don't know. Plus I went for a walk today and it was really windy. I'm going to see if I can do a little bit of stenciling around here. It might be a little bit tricky. Once again, I'm going to activate my watercolors, and I haven't washed out my sponges here, so I may see how that works. I'll have to test them. That's the green. Okay, I think that helps tie it together a little bit more. And I'm going to do that a little bit more with, let's see, first of all, I'll take this. Spatter the eggs. Now I'm going to go in with some, let's see, I'm thinking the turquoise. Okay, and to make these eggs a little more three-dimensional, I'm going to make a shadow underneath them. Maybe I'll put some extra little dots on here. Now what I can do here is I can connect those two colors I have out here, which is green gold and indigo blue. There, and then it doesn't look like a stencil. I'm going to use some gold pen, jelly roll pen here. So I have this, and I'm going to fill in with this instead of the gold paint this time. Get rid of my mess up here. What I like about the jelly roll pen is that it covers any mistakes or black ink really well. Okay, as I was filling this in, I thought, well, it could use some white, some highlighting there on the word April. So I'm just going to imagine that the light is shining down from here. Usually we put a shadow, but this time, well, what if the light was shining? Wouldn't it show? And so yes, now the shadow would show too, and I could put that as well. Maybe I'll do that in black, and then it will stand out more. And then I'm going to add a bit of shadow there with the indigo. And maybe since I went down so far, I'm going to put some up here. Probably wouldn't have if I hadn't done that because I like how it looks here. But I think it needs a little bit more, so I'm just going to add a little water. Try to work fast because this doesn't have the window that watercolor paper gives. I'm really stretching it here. You can see where it's soaking into the paper. Always good to watch someone else push the limits, and then you can see if you like the results or not. Now, I lost some of the stencil, which I'm going to go back then and figure out where I put this for one, but I need it to dry first. So while that dries, I'm going to go in with my jelly roll. And just, I decided I'm gonna oh, I can't go up there yet, but here. Look and see, where do I want to add some of these gold dots? And it can be on here, it can be on the feather, or both, of course. Okay, I'm gonna find the same spot, at least I think I am here. Oh, there we go, where it was. And then I'm going to go in with some indigo. Try to do it just along the edge since I've already done my gold. I think it needs to have a little more of the stencil pattern in there. got a little darker than I anticipated, but I think that's okay. I can also spatter with some white. Usually I use white acrylic paint. I think there still needs to be some more contrast in here, so to help this look better, I'm going to go in and do some shading with the pen. And now for the names of the week and the numbers. All right. This page got a little more involved than I originally planned. What I ended up doing is later I came back and used that same egg stencil to stencil some metallic gold eggs floating about, and I really liked how that turned out. So you never know what can happen. I'm going to go on to the gratitude page, and one thing I realized is that I didn't put my cup on this page. Maybe that's what I was missing. I didn't even think about it. So I'm going to put it on my gratitude page instead. My most typical way of doing a page is to do pencil, pen, erase the pencil, and then paint. So I'm going to do that on this page. And you can see that I have used the stencils to trace around, except I sketched the cup. So I'm going to go in typically what I did the last months with the I am grateful. And then I'm just going to go around and sketch. I have, let's see, an 05. I think I'll use an 03. It could be, or a 2. I don't know where my 1 is, so I'm not going to use that. And then I'm going to go in with a smaller tip there to make some stripes. This is a 005. Okay, this time I've put some paint colors out here with my water. I'll show you here. Activated it with water spray like I normally do, and then brought some out here on my palette. And I'm going to use this to paint the feathers. I have water here. Let's see if I can put that on the edge, and my paper towel. I'll go back with the metallics later, but I've decided to just go in with some watercolor. Basically, I'm coloring the feather. Now, it is different than watercolor paper. I say that all the time, but I have to remind myself, because watercolor paper, you can move things around a lot more. And this, you can move it around a little bit, but it soaks into the paper in a totally different way than watercolor paper does. So just to let you know that one more time. This is some raw sienna. It's very close to yellow ochre. And this was green gold, sap green, cobalt teal, and there's a little bit of orange. It was tinted a little bit with this indigo though. I wanted to point that out. I think I'm even going to add a little bit of red in here to this one. Actually, I'm taking some Thalo Blue, which is really intense. I'm gonna add a bit here. And I'm going to bring in some raw umber with a little bit of indigo, which will make it almost black. I'm just going to add some here. Okay, I'm going to save these colors out for my pages that are following and add some gold in here now. So now for my art workflow page. If you have courses or work that's specific to you, you could totally do this and designate that as your special page here, which I really do use. So I'm going to write art flow. And I'm making my box big enough so I can put the date on it. Just my own personal preference. Of course, the beauty of this is that it's so customizable. You can personalize it to suit your needs. This handmade stencil, that's actually pattern is included in the Plan With Me course. And I cut it out of a thin piece of mylar. I could trace around this, but for me, it's not easier to do that. It's just easier for me to go in and outline it if that's what I want. And then I have to ask myself, well, is that what I want? And if I'm not sure, what I do is I erase these pencil lines that I use my words for, and then I just erase this really lightly so that it's kind of a ghost-like image, so I can see, and it doesn't have to be exact because you can draw a feather or egg any way you want. But I'm just going to do this and use the stencils with the paints I have out here and the cosmetic sponges that I have here. Okay, may need to activate these a little bit more, but this will make a real quick way for me to make this page. And I'll start with this. Just kind of have to decide what colors. Of course, turquoise is my favorite, so I'm going to put my favorite on there. Blotter paper. There you go. With watercolor, this comes off really easy, so if I'm going to flip my stencil over, what I do is I wash this off first, and I'll just put it on something like this with my damp paper towel, just so it doesn't smudge the paper more when this is face down on my journal page. Okay, and then I can go in like this And get another sponge. And let's say I want some orange. And I'm going to go in with the other side of the turquoise. I could also use the blue. That might have been a better choice. And just add a little darker around the edge. What I can do now is go in with some of these egg shapes. And I'm going to go in and do a little bit of spattering on here and cover up. I am going to add some of the gold wind. With my test. And then I'm going to put a few of those golden eggs. Seems very fitting on the workflow page. And I'll put one right here. I think that is good. I've decided to go in with some indigo and maybe raw umber. It makes a nice gray, and just do a bit of shading with the brush to be a little more subtle than a pen. I'm angling my brush here so it gives a softer edge on the interior of the feather. You know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to go in with the white Posca paint pen and do some things here. And I'm not going to use a black pen on this. Okay, so here it is. Okay, I'm going to need to shake this because that should do it. Yep. Put a little bit of white speckles in here. And then down here. This page is done, and I like doing it this way so much, I'm going to do it that way on this page as well. You can see I've done this workflow page, which can be adapted to any page that you want to have as a theme, the same way that I've done this one. And I haven't used a black pen on any of the imagery, but I have used the white pen and the stencils. So there it is. I think it's great to be able to make your own stencils. Feathers are one of those shapes that are pretty easy to just do and to cut like that. Okay, I'm going to keep it really simple for my calendar pages. I'm going to use 05 for my title there, and then 03 for the lines. And to just add a little bit of pattern, I'm going to do the diamond, echoing what I did on the calendar page. And I'm going to leave that there in case I go off there, allowing for even a little bit more space for my text. I'm sure I'll be filling it up with. Okay, I've drawn it all in with my dates, keeping it super simple. I need to be more efficient, and I've done the whole month like this. Okay, so to jazz up the page just a little bit, I'm going to fill in some of these with color. Next, I'm going to go in with just a strip of washi tape. This washi tape, which I think I got at Michael's, is exactly 2 squares or dots wide. And so it's perfect for this and for my more minimal calendar pages, because it comes in a set that just happens to be the same colors that I'm using this month. Works out great. I'm planning to paint just like I did the others, a stencil here. So I do make some following pages, and I'm going to paint more feathers, and I'm going to add some more washi tape on these pages. So you've already seen me do the technique, and I'll just show you those when I'm done. The last thing I'm going to do on these pages here is I'm just going to add a gold dot in the center of each of these diamonds that I drew. Okay, how great is that? If I want to, I can add more washi tape, or I could go in, you know, and add some border stencil, but I'm kind of liking this just plain like this. One great thing about doing extra pages that are decorated in your journal is it gives the chance to play with design and layout. So here's my extra pages, and here is the journal itself with the cover page done in another video, the calendar page, the Dutch door page, which is the devotional in the Plan With Me course, the gratitude page, and the workflow pages, and then the weekly calendar pages and the extra pages. If you've lasted this long with this very long video, thank you so much, and bless you as you create. Thank you for joining me for Plan With Me 2021. For more inspiration and information about e-courses, visit my website at ValerieShodine.com.